Yes. The Breakfast Club, bitches.
Who's Donkey of the Day today?
Donkey of the Day for Thursday, June 4th goes to New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees. Yeah, the mayonnaise is very, very heavy on this sandwich, okay? I've been having a lot of conversations with my white friends this week. They all want to know what to say, how to say it, in regards to not only the death of George Floyd, but about their place on this planet in general. You know, the whole white privilege, white supremacist conversation. See, sadly, there's not a white person in America who can say that at some point, someone in their family tree, someone in their bloodline, their ancestors were part of the problem. Okay, the problem being white supremacy. It is what it is, people. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be embarrassed about. No matter how history books attempt to sanitize it, no matter how sweet they try to make it sound, oh, America was not built on Christian values, okay, like they try to sell it. All right, please stop. Okay, America was built on the back of slavery and racism. That's it, point blank, period, poo. All right, slavery was America's first big business. This country was founded by old white men who were not attempted to make this country all-inclusive for everyone, especially black people. Okay, we were property, like actual literal property. That's why we got to constantly tell people Black Lives Matter, because in the Constitution it says black people were 3/5 of a person, the 3/5 rule. That's why we were treated as property. Okay, so that's why we got to constantly remind you, no, I am actually a life, not a piece of property. And to this day, some still look at us as property, okay? So yes, my white allies, that's the harsh truth. If you are ready and willing to start from that place, then we can figure out how to dismantle this mechanism called white supremacy. Now, in regards to speaking out, you shouldn't have to ask me how to speak out for another human in regards to their pain, okay? If you are a spiritually conscious person in any way, if you are just a human being with empathy, when you saw that video of George Floyd, you should have felt the way, and whatever you felt, express it. Okay, you don't need a black person's permission for that. Okay, this is a matter of race, but it's also just a matter of being human. So if you want to know what to do, it's simple. Just stand up for other humans. Sadly, some people just don't get it. I'm not even mad at them for not getting it, because we all live in our individual bubbles. And when you are a white male, you definitely live in a bubble, because this system, for the most part, works perfectly for you. Okay, this white supremacist system, whether you are prejudiced, bigoted, racist or not, works great for most white males because it was designed by white males. So it's always going to be built-in advantages, which is why when someone like Drew Brees doesn't get it, doesn't surprise me at all. See, Drew Brees was giving an interview with Yahoo Finance. During the interview, he was asked his thoughts on the subject of players potentially kneeling during the national anthem for the 2020 season. Let's hear it.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America. Let me just tell you what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II. And in many cases, it brings me to tears, thinking about all that has been sacrificed, not just those in the military, but for that matter, those throughout the civil rights movements of the 60s, and everyone and all that has been endured by so many people up until this point. And is everything right with our country right now? No. But I think what you do by standing there and showing respect to the flag with your hand over your heart is it shows unity. We can all do better, and that we are all part of the solution.
Flag on the play. A violation has occurred. Illegal use of white privilege. Drew Brees is marginalizing what black people are experiencing in this country because he's seeing the world through the lens of the oppressor, not the oppressed. I am happy that when Drew Brees sees the flag of the United States of America and his grandfathers who fought for this country in World War II, I'm glad he sheds a couple tears. That's beautiful. But Drew Brees, black people fought in World War II. But imagine fighting for a country that at that point didn't even give you the same civil liberties that it gave your grandparents, Drew Brees. Do you know when the U.S. entered World War II, Jim Crow segregation had entered every single aspect of American society? Do you know that there were several segregated units in the military during World War II? So even though we all supposed to have a common enemy in a war, this country still had us divided, okay? Still looked at us as an enemy. This is why so many black folks have a problem with patriotism. How can we salute a country that historically enslaved us, marginalized us, and continues to brutalize us? See, Drew Brees is a white privileged male. That's how he sees America, okay? It's all roses. He's living his life like it's golden, Okay, this white supremacist system works well for him because it's supposed to. I am not arguing with any white person about why people choose to take a knee in regards to police brutality. There's nothing to debate. Okay, if you don't get it by now, you don't want to get it. And if you're committed to misunderstanding the situation, whatever. Now, I did have a convo with my good brother Michael Eric Dyson this weekend. Drop on the clues bombs from Michael Eric Dyson. And he was explaining to me why you do have to teach white people. Because whether you know it or not, you are unintentionally teaching them. So you might as well be intentional about teaching them. So I keep that in mind at times like this. And I defer to one of our greatest teachers, Killer Mike. He was on with Jalen and Jacoby, and he had some lessons for Drew Brees. Let's hear it.
I would like to know what he considers disrespect, because when I travel and we perform in Germany, I never see a Nazi flag, because Nazis are a part of history that Germany understands was a cancer and corrupt, and they've ridded themselves of. Drew Brees plays in the Deep South. As we travel through the South, we see the Confederate flag everywhere that bounds. So if you're going to tell me about flag and disrespecting the American flag, the fact that you live in a region that they still fly the rebel flag or the Confederate flag, and you don't adamantly speak against that on a regular basis, just tells me that you're protecting the way of life or what you think is right. The American flag stands for the First Amendment and the ability to say what you feel about situations. Now, you bear the brunt of that. You may get blackballed out of the NFL, but you have the right to. So if you support and you don't want to see the American flag disrespected, don't look at it on Budweiser shorts at picnics. Don't look at it on bikini shots in Playboy. Don't look at it on your favorite album covers because you think that rock band is rocking for you. Be all the way with it. You're an intelligent football player, but that was an incredibly stupid thing to say. But I'm not going to be so burdened with the religion that has become Americanism, nationalism, that I forget that the flag represents the United States Constitution. And the United States Constitution was written by a bunch of people who chose to protest violently in order to have a flag. So what you interpret as disrespect probably is the most patriotic thing happening today.
Just something to think about. Something to think about, Drew Brees. If I had a lesson for Drew Brees, because I'm nowhere near as eloquent as Killer Mike, but if I had a lesson for Drew Brees, it would be a simple homework assignment, and it's this. If you don't understand why players kneel, if you don't understand why players take a knee, then go watch the video of that white devil cop kneeling, taking a knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. If you don't get it after that, well, we might just need you to shut the F up forever on all issues regarding race in this country and sit the rest of this season called life out. Please let Chelsea Handler give Drew Brees the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. That is way too much Dan Mayonnaise.
I wonder if he's going to address these statements now.
He has to.
I'm sure that he'll have an enlightening moment and say that, he was taught so much in the past 24 hours.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will.
Absolutely.
Plus, he kneeled before.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if he was just doing that to be a good teammate or he actually knew what was going on. Who knows?
All right. Well, thank you for that donkey today.
Donkey of the Day is brought to you by the law office of Michael S. Lamonsoff. Don't be a donkey. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say the bull if you've been hurt in a construction accident. That's pound 250 from your cell and say the bull.